The Accountant is directed by Gavin O'Connor, who also directed Warrior and stars Ben Affleck, Anna Kendrick, J.K. Simmons, and John Bernthal. It's the story of a man with a form of autism. He grows up with a very tough father, and one day he becomes a very high-profile accountant for some very unsavory people. He one day gets hired for this robotics company to uncook their books. As he uncovers some unsavory information about the company, he has to not only find out who's behind it, but he also has to stop them as well as keep his tracks covered from the Treasury Department who's hot on his trail. Guys, this movie was amazing. I loved it from beginning to end. The way the story is told is fairly linear, but there are a lot of flashbacks to the character's childhood, which really shows how he grew up with this disorder that is kind of not necessarily talked about a whole lot. I mean, there's definitely a lot of autism. It's growing, like awareness is growing for a lot of different forms of autism, which I think is great. But it really shows a lot of the struggles that a person with autism has to go through. But it's extremely engaging, and I feel like I couldn't take my eyes off the screen from the start to the very end credits. The action of this movie is extremely well shot, but for those of you who are wanting to go see a Ben Affleck action movie, unfortunately this isn't actually an action movie. It's more of a thriller with action elements. So if you're going to see an action movie, you might be a little bit disappointed. This film is definitely much more of a thriller and it has a little bit more suspense to it than what you would think from the trailers, but it's actually a very, very good movie. It's pretty engaging. When you're talking about a movie that's based around like a guy who does math and stuff like that, it doesn't sound very exciting, but the way it's told, the way it's shot, a lot of the action scenes, a lot of the performances really drive this movie and make it something really special. Now for the performances. Ben Affleck does an absolutely amazing job as the title character with this form of autism. He does a great job of portraying this man who's going through a lot of pain internally, and it's great to see the way that he portrays that. Some of the scenes in which he does this sort of pain that he does internally, it's kind of tough to watch. There's a certain scene that it's not like it's gruesome or hard or like gory or anything like that, but it's sort of hard to see this person struggling so much with such little things that this disorder is causing them to go through. Even the most minute little thing that goes wrong can set them off, and it's such a hard thing to watch these people go through. But it's also kind of not nice that he's doing it, but it's nice to see that there's getting some exposure to such a thing like autism and how many different forms of autism there can be. But in addition to playing a character who has a lot of pain internally, he does a great job of doing this cold precision, especially when he's out in the real world, not only when he's doing his accounting stuff, when he's sort of doing like his assassination type of stuff. He's not technically an assassin, I don't think, but it's more of like his moral code that he brings these people down with, very much in a Batman way. And the cold precision that he executes all these sort of moves with very much reminded me of Batman, which makes me happy that Ben Affleck is playing the Caped Crusader. But there is another aspect that Ben Affleck brings to this performance, and it's this pain again that he shows, especially with his eyes. He does this thing where, I'm not exactly sure how to explain it, but you can really see that he's trying to connect with people. For example, there's a scene with him and Anna Kendrick where he's trying to, it feels like he's really trying to connect with her and explain how he feels, explain how the situation is, all of this stuff that's happening inside of his head, but he just doesn't quite know how to do it. And the pain that really shows through Ben Affleck's eyes is not only amazing, but you really feel for this character and you connect with him even in a way that he can't connect with you, if that makes any sense. But the way that it's done is really, really, like, it's kind of painful to see him going through the struggle, but you also have to understand it. And you kind of just want to give the guy a hug because he just can't express the things that most people normally do. The other performances in this film are also pretty good. Anna Kendrick plays a pretty good Robin to Affleck's Batman for a lot of scenes. J.K. Simmons plays a great Commissioner Gordon to Affleck's Batman in a lot of scenes, which he is actually playing Commissioner Gordon in Justice League and the Batman movie, which I thought was kind of funny. Also, John Bernthal does a great job as like this cold assassin, also similar to Ben Affleck, not the same condition or anything like that, but he does a great job similar to, again, how he does on Marvel and Netflix's Daredevil when he plays the Punisher, which he's also getting his own series, but he does a really good job at playing this cold, sort of calculated character, but he does have certain emotional moments, which I think is how John Bernthal plays best. He does a good job of doing this action hardcore role, but having this small little dent where he has some emotion to him. So this performance is really, really interesting to watch it play out on screen. I really, really like this film, the performances, the action, the way that it was shot. It kind of reminded me of a combination between like Jason Bourne, John Wick, and Batman, which is not a bad combination if you ask me. If I did have to choose one tiny little complaint that I have about this film, this film does have a little bit of a twist to it that I kind of caught on to early, and I think that a lot of audiences will catch on to it pretty early, especially if you're really paying attention to this movie. So that's probably my only complaint. Other than that, I really, really, really liked The Accountant. The grade I'm going to give The Accountant is an A+. This film was great. I was really looking forward to it from the very first trailer. I thought it was something very interesting. It's definitely a concept that you don't see in a lot of thrillers or action movies these days, which I really, really appreciated. The performances were great, the action was great, story was phenomenal, and I highly recommend seeing it. I can't wait to see it again, and I'm definitely going to have to buy it when it comes out. Guys, that's my review for The Accountant. If you've seen it, let me know, as well as what is your favorite film that sort of caught you off guard based on the trailers. Like you went into it expecting one thing, but you actually ended up loving it. Let me know down in the comment section down below. Also, don't forget to hit this big subscribe button right here. Please do it. It's clickable now. I figured out how to do that finally, so that will subscribe you right away so you can see future videos like my Batman Return of the Caped Crusaders review, Luke Cage Season 1 review, as well as my Power Rangers teaser trailer, which I will leave thumbnails to on this next page, which are all clickable, so definitely click those and check those out as well. Guys, thank you so much for watching. You really are the best, and I'll see you in the next one.